Yeah.
There we go. Okay, good.
That's so. Look at the ding already.
Just like, why? It's going to sound like a drum solo when we get done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
I said hello, everybody. Well, I looked at you.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, hi.
How are you, everyone?
Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Jordan.
Yeah. So Jekyll J is back.
Yes. Welcome to the new Jekyll's J.
After a much needed... No, it wasn't much needed. It wasn't like a band thing. Where we were like...
We didn't change genres.
We didn't. We didn't have like... We didn't suffer of drug abuse.
Thankfully, no.
So...
no alcoholism, no drug abuse, no cancer from cigarettes.
Nothing of that.
No cigarette partaking.
No. We were just busy. That's what happened. So, yeah, we're back, and with a lot of changes. You're watching this on YouTube right now, which is where we've gone, opposed to where we were before, which was Buzzsprout and iTunes and Google Play and
places that made you pay money if you wanted to do anything that lasted on a monthly payment.
Yes.
And we're poor.
Yes. All of the episodes that we had put out, I think, are gone. Other than me having still the files on my computer, the audio files. Everything's gone. From like iTunes and everything. I think I checked a while back and everything was gone. Because it's a period... What Buzzsprout was having us do is we liked Buzzsprout. We loved using it. But they... After 90 days, your episode would be taken off of like the active play.
Forever.
So yeah, you couldn't use it. So then, well, it just wasn't on Buzzsprout.
Right. And
then you had about another 30 days before it was taken off of the platforms that it was published on. Because Buzzsprout publishes your podcast to like iTunes. So we had it going to iTunes and Google Play. And so then it was taken off of those after 30 days. And then you had another 2 weeks. And after that, if everything was taken off of iTunes, Google Play, it was put into like a delete folder or something like that. And then it was another 2 weeks. It would be gone forever.
So we took 134 days to do nothing. And thus, everything is lost.
Everything is lost. But we're restarting. We thought this was a better format.
And honestly, we could probably... you still have the files, right? Probably just like repost the files at some point.
Yeah, I definitely could. Just
archival footage.
Throwback.
We'll have a Patreon, guys.
Oh my gosh. We really need one.
There we go. That would be amazing. Can you imagine if people paid us to do this?
Oh, no, I couldn't.
That would be a fantastic life.
I wouldn't say no, but...
yeah.
I mean,
that's
hey,
fair.
maybe someday. Anyway.
There you go.
But yeah, we're back, and we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about because 2019 was is still a very busy year full of a lot of crazy stuff. So Joseph,
we're starting off new, but really we're in the end game.
I was getting ready to ask what we were gonna talk about.
Transitions, lady and gentlemen.
This does put a smile on my face. We're just gonna make this.
All day.
All absolutely.
Day. Oh, man.
So, yeah, Endgame came out. It's made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. It actually, it beat out Titanic a couple weeks ago for second highest grossing movie of all time. And I read an article that was like, well, actually, if you adjust for inflation... I was like, shut up. Shut up. No.
This is the one time I don't care about inflation,
I don't care about inflation, okay? Stop it. I've heard enough about inflation. So, yeah, and it's only got about 200 million more before it beats out...
200 million, wow.
Avatar, so it might not get there, but it'll get...
It's got a decent chance.
Yeah, it'll get close. I still... need to go see. Well, I've seen it already, but me and my dad are going to go see it pretty soon, so it'll make a couple extra bucks, and people are going back to see this 3 and 4 times over, just like they did with Infinity War. So yeah, movie was, I think, as big as a success as it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It was definitely what I wanted it to be, but it was one of those where going into the theater and watching it, what impressed me most was that they really did take everything and put it all in there and throw in, and I use this word in a good way, throw in so much fan service that was like good. Like,
it was needed.
hey guys, we're gonna talk about spoilers in this episode, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen it,
what are you watching this for? It's about Endgame, guys. Come on.
True. We also have a couple of more episodes that we're going to be recording and putting out as well. So,
I mean, yes, you can watch those.
Yeah.
While you watch Endgame and get really confused, and then come watch this episode, and it'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great.
I will say, speaking of being really confused, I thought it started out a little bit slow.
Okay.
But, like, I feel like it really sped up, but it was never bad. Yeah. So that's the thing. It was never bad. I feel like I still think, to me, personally, Infinity War was a better film.
Mm-hmm. I've been, hello truck. I've been having a inner debate about that, and I think Infinity War. Somebody's being very friendly today.
Oh my gosh.
Our audio levels are
audio
intense
is
right now.
My mic just had a seizure.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We don't normally have people do this.
Sorry, Travis Pastrana is currently outside. It's Travis Pastrana, guys.
I have no idea.
No, he's a BMX like
okay.
He's like a stunt man driver person. He's really cool, actually. Hi, Travis.
So now that we don't have that, we were talking about something. We were talking about Endgame.
We were talking about how how we kind of thought Infinity War was a better film.
Yes. Okay. That was my yeah. So I was debating, and I think in the end, Infinity War edged it out for me. I also, some of my friends judge me for this, but I found...
I don't.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I found the snap to be one of the most delicious moments. Like, it was something... I see your non-judgment face is very strong. It was just such... That feeling in the theater of seeing the build-up and the payoff of actually having the snap happen.
No, you're talking about Infinity War. Okay, when Thanos snaps.
Yes, the Thanos snap. We're both still here. In that moment, seeing the deaths of, all these people, I was having way too good a time. Because I was ready for that to happen. I was feeling the movie leading toward a loss.
Yeah.
And I felt so satisfied that they actually did it. And something I praise Endgame for is the fact that I wanted more time in between the snap and Endgame. I wanted movies in between there. But even though we didn't get that, I love that Endgame gave us that 5-year period. That was a huge win for me.
I didn't expect that. I figured there was going to be I knew it picked up right where it left, but there was that stuff. I was like, okay, well, everybody's hair is different, and everybody who is male is shaved, and everybody looks different. So there's some kind of time that has gone by between Infinity War and Endgame, and I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
because.
I didn't expect it, but it made so much sense.
It did. It was hilarious. The guy sitting beside me in the theater when I saw it, it was when... So spoilers start pretty much right now.
Oh, yeah. I think we already said spoilers.
They find Thanos within the first, 15 minutes of the film.
Super early,
They find him. They're like, oh, there he is. Let's go get him. And they go get him, and they kill him. So basically, it's that part where... they're just all kind of holding Thanos after he brought in his basket of fruit. I love that because I always
playing Minecraft.
I always joked it was he's just gonna be. Looks like he's on a farm in Vietnam, just living his life. He's gonna just eat himself some breakfast, and then he's gonna die. And that's exactly what happened. They came in and Thor chopped off his head, and then the dude sitting to my right was like, "What a good movie." And I was like, please just roll credits right there. I would be so happy. It'd be funny.
Endgame. Bum, 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 bum.
But yeah, so it kind of caught me off guard too, but I think in a good way.
Yes.
They needed to do that because
Yes.
it kind of showed like they all kind of like they killed him and they were like, well, what now? Do we? So it was this period where humanity was kind of in this rebuilding stage.
Yeah.
It really was like, I mean, the chillest post-apocalyptic world I've ever seen. You know, it like in every other post-apocalyptic film, like people are like chasing each other with death cars. Like I was expecting
the whole Mad Max
and
on.
Book of Eli kind of stuff, and then this is just like, oh well, we're gonna have therapy sessions and we're gonna eat peanut butter sandwiches and everything's gonna be okay. And then I was like, okay, I kind of like this where this is going.
Yeah, and I found it good because it's one of those where I'm sure that, I mean, it's an entire world. I'm sure there were theoretically plenty of places that went all Mad Max, but the way that
there's the stuff with Hawkeye,
like
that,
which that was a whole thing I love.
Yeah.
Talk more about Hawkeye later.
Yes, definitely.
But I loved that we got to see kind of the more full experience because it made it feel more complete and full to have it be questions about loss and people more dealing with the issue of suddenly losing half the world than just the immediate response of rioting. Because, you know, that's an immediate response.
And we've seen that before.
Right.
It's almost like it was a side of humanity. It almost sounds so dramatic when I say it, but it's like this movie let us see a side of humanity we haven't seen in other Marvel movies. You know what I'm saying?
Or even, I don't even know about, and in Marvel movies, but even in general, just movies that have post-apocalyptic actions, typically we'll see this side, but it's so intermingled or just hidden under crazy bank robberies that banks don't even exist, but they still get robbed.
Like life went on. It was just with half the amount of people there were before. Like they made a really nice monument for everybody.
All that fun stuff.
Yeah. So like and again they're like having therapy sessions and stuff. So
you know you're like in that therapy session for the first your first time coming, and then you're like, oh, Steve Rogers. In my
guy's like sweating next to Captain America. He's like
sweating profusely. Still working on my weight loss goal, guys.
I'm an alcoholic. No, it was. I just thought that was cool, and I think it was needed. And I think it kind of. I don't want to say like my interest was ever lost during the film, but I do think that this is going back to it being like not as great as Infinity War, but Infinity War was 2 hours and 45 minutes. This movie Endgame was 15 minutes longer. So it's not that much.
I was very confused for a half second there. I know you made the joke about Thanos dying immediately, but the movie was not 15 minutes long. Then you said longer, and it all made sense. Go ahead.
Oh man, but it was a little bit longer, but I think it could have been a little bit shorter. I think it was a little too long in some parts. Like it just, I think, and again, it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but it's just overall it could have been a little bit shorter, and because of its length, I thought Infinity War was paced better, even though we've already done. We're not going to turn this into an Infinity War podcast, obviously, but like I just thought it was paced better.
Interesting.
Because Infinity War felt like I sat down in my chair, I ate a piece of popcorn, and the movie was over. And then this movie was like, I sat down in my chair, ate a piece of popcorn, I sat there for the next 3 hours, and then the movie was over. So it is a 3-hour movie. It's long. It needs to be long, but I just think it could have been shorter. Like I didn't think it needed to be as long as it did. However, again, it did really well with that kind of length. Like there's not a lot of movies that can do that.
No, yeah. And honestly for me, I didn't mind the pacing. One of the main reasons being for me being that this was or is our last movie with
it needed to take its time. I do agree with you what you're saying.
And so having, it had those slower moments, but I felt like And personally, I appreciated that they took the time to give us a slowdown on some of these people that we know we're not getting in future films. Or technically, I guess you could get some like Old Man Rogers action going.
Oh my gosh.
Old Man Rogers is like, yes, you're doing a terrible job with this shield. I know I gave it to you, but being a young whippersnapper.
Well, we technically don't know his ability.
He's on his little the control stick wheelchair. It's like, on your left, on your left. It's like
his
it's like a jet wheelchair.
His wheels are just like the shields, and he's just
shields. That's amazing.
But yeah, like, well, we still do, so technically Captain America is like the peak physicality for a human, right? So is he the peak physicality for an old man?
That's something that I was actually interested.
So if he's like 80 or 90 by the end game, technically, because he
went back to like, and I think that's right, because he went back to like what. It was World War II.
He went back to after the war to go
after
back
World War
to
II,
Peggy,
yes.
and he lived out a full life, which
already had a solid.
He would have been close to.
Years?
Well, technically, it's 2019. This movie took place in
2024.
2024. So he was born in 1918. So he's 100 and something years old.
Yeah, but admittedly, we're cutting like
true,
yeah, that because of the freeze.
Physically, he's probably in his 40s.
Yeah, I was thinking like 30s, maybe 40.
Yeah.
So like 30 plus. Post World War II would be like
he just 30 70. Plus.
I mean, he's over. His body itself would be over 100 at this point.
Yes,
and he's rocking himself out like maybe he's 70. So I guess that's a fair interpretation.
He's in. He looked in good shape for an old man. He looked like kind of Clint Eastwood at one point, which I thought was kind of funny.
Probably very inspired by it, given he's such a iconic American. Person.
Yeah.
They probably kind of took a little bit of that idea.
And I liked that. And one thing I think that this movie did do correctly was a proper send off for every character that was sent off. And one of those being somebody who really got crapped on in the movie, just like Star-Lord got crapped on in Infinity War, was Black Widow.
Yeah, she got a lot of use. I was very, and this is a good transition to start talking about her and like Hawkeye, because they kind of have the dynamic.
Yes. One of my favorite parts of the movie.
And the fact that they did that was very good, because to me it's been kind of a running joke that like Hawkeye and Black Widow are so useless in reality. If you think about it, like
Hawkeye even admits in Age of Ultron,
right?
He's like, we're fighting robots. I have an arrow,
right? Like,
and a bow.
Yes, they are absurdly good for human normalcy, but they are at the peak of human normalcy. They're not superhuman, and like it just added the fact that they gave them solid story. It gave them. The fact that the entire movie wasn't chasing Thanos meant that they had useful ability, and it also gave the entire story arc of being like finding Hawkeye, who I think technically is Ronin at that point, and all that. But something I wanted to it's half a diversion, half rabbit trailing. Something I wanted to point out that I absolutely loved that they did with Hawkeye is that he had a color palette, very explicitly. His character had an explicit color palette that they only used for him. When you first see him using that Neo Tokyo vibe, right?
Yeah.
It's like all the neons and all that. Super cool. It's like, let's fight with that. But then later on in the film, in the finale, when he gets his own action scene, and that's not necessarily every scene, because like the sacrifice scene doesn't have it, but like he gets his own action scene when he's running with the gauntlet.
Yeah,
the whole football chase, and the creature things are being all creaturey after him,
as creatures do.
Creatures do creature. Yes.
Remember.
But in that moment, they go back to being in this underground, and it's like bright reds.
Yeah.
With like these flashes of blue, which is like the exact same thing they threw using the neon lights with like the blue and the reds, and it was really interesting to me that the Russos took the time to give themes that aren't even naturally there. They took the time to do that for him.
Mm-hmm.
Another great example, and maybe I'm crazy, I feel like when Valkyrie, when you see her fighting for just like a split second in the final fight, I feel like her axe or something, when she swung it, had this almost like purple afterburner behind it. And it was super, super subtle. But it was there, and it was very reminiscent of Ragnarok. Specifically, which is, I mean, 'cause it's where she came from. And it's not necessarily something that makes 1,000% sense for it to happen, but
it's cool.
It worked perfectly.
Yeah,
like it was just like my eye caught it for like a millisecond, and I was like, "Huh, that makes me think of where she came from."
Yeah, no,
that's really well done. That's what we want for this finale.
Because Ragnarok is just so like vibrant and just.
We could do a whole other podcast
about
about Ragnarok,
absolutely.
baby.
Love Ragnarok. And Korg was in it.
I know.
Korg and Meek,
Korg got his love.
they came back.
This here's a real question though. How did you feel about Thor?
I had mixed feelings at first, and after listening to a couple other podcasts, and kind of getting my thoughts on what they said, it was kind of like it made sense. After seeing the movie, I wasn't a big fan of Fat Thor. I was not a big fan of it because, okay,
I vote we start calling him Thor. This is Fat Thor.
Oh, gosh. Thor. No, I wasn't a big fan of him. Because at first, and the reason I say that is because, like, okay, easily he was the coolest thing about Infinity War.
Oh yeah,
with the new hammer and everything like that, like
axe, but yes,
axe, yeah. The new axe and everything, his new weapon, his like him holding open that freaking thing so that the hammer, the axe could be forged or something like that. Like, he was just awesome in Infinity War. He was so cool, and that was coming off of Ragnarok, which at the end of Ragnarok, everybody is killed. Well, no, at the beginning of Ragnarok, beginning of Infinity War.
Yeah,
like he loses pretty much everything. So he's out for blood, and he easily is the coolest thing about Infinity War. I loved Thor. I've never been like that big of a Thor fan because he was always like, I must go to Asgard. Like, it was just like it kind of good. Oh, thank you. I didn't even mean to do that well, but it was he always got kind of old to me. And then Ragnarok, with the genius of Taika Waititi, really like gave his character more depth, and like I feel like it just like gave his character more purpose. And then in Infinity War, he was just awesome. And then in Endgame, he's literally, and it was the perfect like Tony Stark line. But there's one part where he calls him Lebowski.
Yeah.
As in, like, because he
looked
looked like Jeff Bridges from Big Lebowski. He looked like the dude.
Oh, totally.
So that was so funny. But I wasn't a big fan of that because I was like, man, he's so awesome, and now he's like a dud. But it makes sense because of how much he had been through.
You ready?
Oh my!
I have no sunglasses to do this, but these are sunglasses now. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All I need is John Goodman in the background saying "Shut up, Donnie." Anyway, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
It was like intellectual
Big
Jeff Lebowski.
Intellectual Lebowski,
like a librarian with the glasses on. Oh my gosh. Wow, that was great, actually.
Thank you.
But yeah, so like I kind of felt like, obviously it was a beer gut from all the beer, and he was still really powerful and really cool. Ended up being really, really cool in that final fight. Kind of a redemption moment for him. Excuse me, I keep coughing, but thank you. But I feel like it kind of made sense for his character because you look at everything he's been through, basically chasing his brother around the galaxy and cleaning up after him, making sure that Asgard doesn't fall apart. You see Ragnarok, like, he really reaches his character's potential. And he goes through everything in Ragnarok that he does only to watch his friends and Loki supposedly die.
I do think that the Russos were like, no, yeah, we really killed him. So, according to them, he's dead.
According
Disney
to the movie,
might
he's
have
not.
other plans.
According to
Let's
the movie,
be honest.
he is not. And we'll get to that in a little bit, probably. But yeah, I just felt like at first I was like, man, I don't really get this. But the more I thought about it, the more people I listened to talk about him, it was like, I mean, what is he going to do at that point? He's done everything for his people, for Earth as well. Which, let's be honest, he has no business being on Earth. Like, what the heck is?
I mean, Asgard's gone. So
yeah, I mean, true, yeah.
That's his new Asgard.
But it's just like he went through so much, and only to find out that, as Thanos says in the beginning, I used the stones to destroy the stones.
Yeah,
it's done. It nearly cost me my life, and it can't be reversed. What has been done can't be undone.
Yeah.
And Thor chops off his head and then goes into a drinking bench for 5 years playing Fortnite with Korg and Meek. And it's like, it kind of makes sense. He's almost going through like this, almost like this withdrawal. Like, he doesn't know who he is anymore. He failed.
He filled his purpose and it didn't work.
Yes, he failed. And for good, pretty much. During that 5 year period, he failed. And he was they formed that new Asgard over in, I don't know where it was, but
probably Scotland or Ireland.
Probably something like that.
Wales or
Norway or something
Norway
like that.
would be the logical place, I guess.
Yeah,
but I mean,
with the Norse stuff, I feel like that would only make sense. I don't know why they would go to Scotland, but anyway. It's just, it kind of made sense for his character, and it was a good moment to see him at the end, just like, let's kill him properly this time. And he like grabs the axe and everything like that, and I was like, yeah, he's back. Yes, he's back.
I will say, that's kind of where, when I had it again in the theater, I had like, first reaction, of course, was just busting out laughing. But then, like, when you actually get to know the character, I felt like it was a little overplayed for the humor. I feel like they could have backed down on that a little bit. It did feel weird having it be such the joke.
Yeah.
But as an arc, I actually did end up agreeing it very similarly. I wasn't sure how you felt about it. I know some people, friends of mine, that wanted him to become more of a king, to take what he originally kind of was his birthright and all that. Yeah. But the reason that I don't see that working as well is we see in like Ragnarok, well, for starters, he's had this king calling, whatever, but he's always been a warrior. Even from the first Thor to Ragnarok, even in his evolution as a character, he's always been a warrior.
He's kind of a lone gun.
Yeah, sort of.
More or less, yeah.
But he's always wanted to fight his way through things. But secondly, we see in Ragnarok, he has hit that point where I would say he is ready to become a king.
Yes.
He is leading his nation.
And he does.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds.
For about 15 minutes before everything goes bad.
And he, at that point, I am completely with the idea of him like becoming king of Asgard and taking that place. But to me, the linchpin is just the nihilism that comes with Infinity War. And I think it makes sense that it infected Thor. That he threw everything at it, that it was like he lost everything again, had to start over, and he gets mad, and he is so determined to win, to not make the loss for nothing, and then it really does fail. And at that point, as a warrior, he takes, he gets his revenge or whatever, but then he has nothing else to do. They don't know of a fight anymore. And he's convinced there is no fight. Even if you fight more, he's convinced that it doesn't matter. You can't get...
He essentially... He became a king, which he thought was his purpose. That's kind of what we saw in Ragnarok. That failed. He then was a warrior, and he lost his war. After he lost his kingship, technically. So, like... losing so much, gaining so much, and then immediately losing it is what I saw with Thor, and it's really what made him overall, as far as all the Marvel movies go, one of my favorite characters now. Just so cool to see what he goes through and what he does.
Now, I will say, next appearance of his, he better lose that belly.
Yes.
No, like, I'm not even saying he has to go back to, like, Ragnarok, but, I mean, you do get used to it. Something I do love is that despite giving him the bigger figure or whatever, which I would note was not, because of what he was, it was extreme. But if you think about an average human, really, he just looked like a pretty average guy with a bit of a beer gut. Like,
I mean, he was still huge.
Right, he's still a ginormous guy. He was still for sure, but
big, like it built. It was just the beer
hiding
gut.
under the gut and all. But what was interesting to me was how they played, how he fought a little differently. He fought a little bit more with almost given the combination of having the ability to just use lightning now, and also being not quite as physically fit. He had this almost shaman-like aspect at times. Like when he first, that moment that you're talking about, where like he has like the axe and the hammer.
He hits Thanos with lightning, doesn't he?
Right, or something like that. And he just has this moment of just whoosh, and the eye flare and everything, and it was just like, ooh.
It's kind of like a mage kind
of thing.
It's
exactly.
Which is, again, like we're seeing...
And he definitely got his kicks in, too.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely seeing, like, the most powerful Thor that we've ever seen. From Ragnarok to, you know... From Ragnarok to Endgame... yeah, it is. From Ragnarok to Endgame, we see, like, Thor on OP levels all over the place. And it's... Again, it's just, like, his whole... story from Ragnarok to Endgame. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love every bit of it. He's one of the most fascinating characters to me because of that. And talked a lot about Thor, but I want to talk about that Captain America Thanos fight. That movie, look, forget the rest of the movie. Just go for the fight, okay? Just go for that fight.
That was one of the greatest.
Go for the shot of Captain America standing there with a broken shield. It's just him, and then it's Thanos' army. Go for that shot, because that was like... That was so incredible. That just made me like... I was already like, you know... in
watching him
like
go toe-to-toe and just slowly get beaten down, despite the fact he should have been taken out immediately, but just so him that he managed to go toe-to-toe with Thanos.
Yeah.
And then just that moment, yeah.
He just, like, he stands up, his shield's broken in half, which... You know, you didn't think he could break his shield. His shield is broken in half, and he's standing there all bloodied and beat up. Ooh. And with that "I can do this all day" kind of attitude against Thanos' army. Go for that shot.
Yeah,
that was just.
Then
you can't beat that.
The satisfaction of that being where they had everybody come back.
Yes.
Where it gives that moment of just utter defeat again.
That's when I went in my chair from just slowly sunk down because I couldn't take it.
Couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, no, it was. He had some help in the fight though.
Yeah.
Which was cool to see. I was wondering because I know in the comics he can pick up the hammer.
Yes.
But he actually freaking doesn't.
That was something that I've been, and I'm sure there's 50 million people that agree. Like, I've been wanting. And calling that moment, like I'm sure everybody has, since like Avengers, of like, when's he gonna actually use the hammer? When do we get that scene where he's got the shield and hammer and it's just going ham? And and the fact that we did get it and got it in such a great fashion, had it the two of them working together and bouncing off each other, and probably literally and figuratively,
exactly,
was just.
And him going at it with Thanos, like, and the way he used it too, he would throw the shield, and then the shield would hit Thanos, and then it'd come back to him, and he would bat it with the hammer, and it would go right back to Thanos. Yeah, I almost hit the mic. I wasn't gonna hit the mic. I saw you there, but it's okay.
It's okay.
But yeah, no.
My favorite was when he like threw the shield and then the hammer, and it like reverberated off the shield.
Yeah,
like I was like, whoa!
It was so that fight, just the entire thing. Was amazing, and it's really like it's really a testament to kind of payoff that this movie gives.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
And I think that's what at the end of the day... At the end of the day, that was what was important. Like, honestly, the first half was really well done, but the payoff was... I'm not going to say the only thing that mattered, but it was really the thing that anybody cared about. Was how they said goodbye, how they ended this era.
Yeah, because you know, and they pay off Iron Man, and I thought that it was going to be big spoilers coming up again. If you've been watching,
like we've been saying spoilers.
It's again, if you've been watching to this moment, Iron Man dies. He perishes in the end with a self-sacrifice, very Iron Man-esque thing to do.
And again, that was... And something I will say, I saw this brilliant meme. Not really a meme, I guess, but it's just like how Captain America and Iron Man proved each other wrong. In the first Avengers, at the height of their argument, it's... Captain America's like, you're not the guy to make the sacrifice play.
Yeah.
And Iron Man says, everything special about you came out of a bottle. And
they kind of...
And there's like the moments in Infinity where we see or Endgame, where we see the exact opposite of Tony making the sacrifice play and Captain America being the one that holds everything together.
Being more than just what he was made into.
Right.
Is what you're saying. And I figured, I didn't know who they were going to kill. I knew someone was going to die. Didn't expect Black Widow to die, even though it kind of made sense for her character. But and for her story with Hawkeye, it kind of made sense as well. But like, it kind of made sense for Iron Man 2 because he does carry the most emotional weight. It started with him and it ended with him. And I think that's only appropriate. And then I didn't know how they were going to see off Captain America. I knew I wanted Peggy involved because I was like, it's not fair.
Peggy.
He needs to go back for the last dance, and he did.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful ending for his character.
I will say, I never cried in Endgame. I did not cry. No tears were shed.
Same.
But cohesion played a huge role. And for me, the biggest moment wasn't even... I mean, don't get me wrong. The funeral and all that was so intense.
The funerals where I got probably like the closest to like... I was just like...
Right.
Dang it, Marvel. You know,
the funeral was close.
Yes. Yeah.
But my closest was actually the dance.
The dance, yes.
That was where I was just like...
They did it. They did it.
Not crying.
Yeah.
That's the moment. Not crying. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it was...
We're okay, big guy.
That's when you started to hear... Like, that was when the final sniffs were put in from around the theater. Just...
Oh, there was this one chick in the theater that just kept bawling. Like, and even as we were leaving, as I was leaving, I waited. Even though I had somebody tell me that there was no true after credit scene, I still... It's like a thing. I still sit through credits. It's my way of respecting the movie makers and all. Yeah. But I didn't. Even then, after the entire credit sequence, I was leaving, and I just glanced, and her eyes are still just like the mascara is just
oh my gosh
running down.
When a movie can ruin a woman's makeup, right? It's hit where it needs to hit. Like it's hit. That's right
probably waterproof too. Let's be honest. Like,
well, yeah, no, probably. But seriously, like that was just because I was wondering. I was like, okay, well, Iron Man's dead, so how are they going to send off Captain America? Because he's the other big man.
He's the other.
He's the other. It's the Avengers are led by Iron Man and Captain America, and it's split, split apart by them two, as well in Civil War.
Yeah.
So I was like, how are they going to do that? And they did it the best way possible I could ever think of.
Yeah,
like
I do.
And it's almost like you think like, oh well, of course he would go back for his last dance, but it's so perfect.
He got to live out his entire life with her.
He got to live out the life he wanted to live. He had lived another life. He went back and he said, I'm not going to have a chance to do this again. And he went back to be with Peggy. And I thought that was beautiful. And that's probably like another moment that hit the same notes like that was when Tony and Steve go off to look for the Tesseract after that whole fiasco in New York happens.
Right.
And Tony runs into his dad.
Yeah.
And that moment, it was like, he just like, he played it off, but he was just like, as Howard Stark is leaving, Tony he like hugs him, and it kind of catches Howard's like,
I mean, stranger
okay,
hugging you,
like, but he just says, he's like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
He's like, it's gonna be okay, Howard. And then he like hugs him, and he's just like, thank you.
Yeah.
And then they're walking away, and Howard kind of looks at me, he's like, for all you've done for this country.
Yeah.
So he kind of like plays it off. It's like, thank you for your service, kind of thing.
Right,
but just like him getting those, because you hear him talk about his dad all the time. It's like, he really never told me he loved me, and that kind of plays out in Iron Man 2.
A lot of daddy issues
with the video that my greatest creation, Tony, will always be you.
Right.
That kind of thing. And so that moment between Tony and his dad, even though his dad did not know that he was talking to his son 40-something years in the future, he knew. And even there's that line where Howard's like, the kid's not even here yet, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him, or something like that. And I was like, and so I think that moment too, much like the dance, that moment between Tony and his dad, it was just like, it was perfect. The way they did it was perfect. I think there's not much more I can say. Again, my only thing is that I thought it was a little bit long at first. But going back in, it's like, if they cut anything out, I don't know if it
right. It's a question of like, what would you cut out?
What would you cut out? What was cut out too? We haven't seen if there is a director's cut. I think they probably left everything in there. But it's like everything they did fit, and it ended well. Obviously, like, just the payoff. Again, I go back to the payoff. Like, yes, it was sad to see Captain America go, to see Black Widow go, to see Iron Man die, but it all made sense, and it all fit, and it all tied in together. And really interested to see where Marvel goes from here, because also this came out a couple weeks ago, but it's the new Spider-Man trailer, and Tom Holland starts off with, "There's spoilers for Endgame, do not watch this." So I think a lot of people would stop watching at that point if they hadn't seen Endgame, but
hopefully,
Spider-Man plays right off of Endgame.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. I think that having Far From Home be the next movie is such a right move to rely on Spider-Man specifically.
He's the man now,
right? Not only is he kind of the up and coming young Avenger, quote unquote, depending on when you look at it. He also has one of the most direct emotional connections to Iron Man, very clearly put in.
Definitely, yeah. Well, it's like the son. He's like a son to him, you know.
He has that, and he also very clearly has this battle of feeling like he's the one that has to step into that role.
Yeah.
He can't obviously be like, the fully grown leading Avengers sort of thing.
Yeah.
But stepping into the kind of the role that Stark fulfilled, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of recognition of who he really is, and we're also going to see played out very quickly this idea of, and like it said in the ad, so I'm just friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Excuse me, but Fury just like, you've been in space.
Yeah, that was funny.
That
was very funny. It's like he has. He's done stuff.
You want to be this, but you can't fight that you've done so much more now.
Yeah, you've fought Thanos, right? Like, you don't just go, I'll sit out for this one, guys. After beating Thanos, or helping beat Thanos, and I am so much more excited for that film now.
Yeah,
because of that trailer, and because my thoughts were originally was this is just another like kind of whatever film, because to me what I thought was, okay, they're on this trip in Europe. Spider-Man Far From Home happens. They get back, and they're on that bus coming back in. Well, they're on that bus.
You thought it was a prequel.
Yes. They're on that bus coming back into New York, or coming to New York or whatever, after the field trip, and that's when Endgame happens.
Interesting.
So Far From Home went in and go right into Endgame.
Interesting.
Sorry. Infinity War. Infinity War is what I mean. So that's what I thought. But what they're doing with this now, because I thought originally it was like, okay, that whole Infinity Stones thing, let's just take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's chill out for a little bit. But then it gets into this whole, so the snap tore a hole in our universe, and now there's like multiple timelines, multiple universes. Here's Jake Gyllenhaal. He's from something else. Yeah. We're going to explain what happens in the Far From Home, which is probably a podcast we'll make pretty soon. But yeah, so I just like, after that trailer, so much more excited now for that film. I was not interested in Far From Home at all. And I know why now they waited to give out the good stuff. Yes. So insanely excited.
And I feel like this is probably a good place to start heading towards wrapping up. I feel like Far From Home I'm very excited for because one, Mysterio is a character I've always loved.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio. Yes, definitely.
No, just
definitely.
Mysterio.
I also love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. He's phenomenal.
He's amazing. I haven't seen him in a bad role. I'll say that. I haven't seen him in too many things, but like I've never been like
he does some amazing stuff.
No, he's great.
But the thing with him that I'm very interested in is how they play him because he's going for this whole I'm part of an alternate Earth, blah blah blah. The whole thing with Mysterio is that he's a giant fraud. He's
because he's a villain, isn't he?
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And his whole thing, I'm sure he has actual use for it, but a lot of his thing is that he uses illusions and trickery. And so
it's David Blaine.
Yeah, he's David Blaine, the bad guy. I mean, and not in a Loki way, but in just in a different sort of way. And I'm very interested to see how they take it, because I'm very clearly he does have true power of some sort, and that he's Spider-Man's fighting these things with him, and
the
all
stuff
that.
He was doing with his hands looked like some Doctor Strange crap.
Right.
So that's like where I'm like, okay, because like he looks like he's using the Time Stone. Like the same kind of stuff that
he's doing the whole thing.
It looks like it's green, and it looks like the same thing that happens when Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone. And like there's like a lot going on with him, so like I'm really interested in what they do.
I'm just curious how much of him is legitimate, how much of him is making stuff up, and how much of him they will use to explain things like you said, the idea of perhaps introducing the multiverse. Or they've already introduced it with Endgame, but introducing a multiverse where you can have things like, I still haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, which is really sad, but
me neither.
A live action Into the Spider-Verse, something like that, where you have other timelines, other ideas coming into play, and I'm curious how much they go into that.
Yeah, no, I'm insanely excited. After watching Endgame, I was like, I need a break. Marvel, let's just take a couple years off. Let's just chill out here. Let's relax. And then I saw that Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, and I was like, let's do it. Let's go into it again. New bad guys, new everything. Let's do it. No, I bugged out when I saw that. And I did read one thing. I know we're trying to wrap up. I did read one thing. You know how all these movies recently have set up Thanos? Like, in this phase of Marvel movies, since 2012 Avengers, set up Thanos.
Yes.
I have heard some theories and read some things that say like that the next big villain to beat is going to be Galactus.
That is what a lot of people are pointing at. I think, and I don't even know theory-wise. I just know people are going, well, we've got Thanos down. Who's the other ones left?
Who's bigger and badder than Thanos, right?
We got Galactus. You can hear it in the name. Galaxy stuff.
Yes.
He
eats planets and
exactly
grows bigger. So like,
big boy.
I don't know how they're going to do that because Silver Surfer was a really stupid movie. So
I will say I love the concept of Silver Surfer, and if they ever manage to make, like, I feel like Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four would have to be involved at that point, and I can't remember. I feel like they might be the holdout still of like technically a franchise Marvel doesn't own, or do they own them now?
Well, okay, so I think I don't know if it's the Fantastic Four is owned. whoever's owned by Fox, because Disney just bought them.
Yes, that was X-Men. I know X-Men.
So that's X-Men. So we don't know if Fantastic Four. I think it is Marvel property.
If it's Marvel property, that'd be, we could theoretically get them. It is something that's funny to me. Is just that I don't know if you ever saw the latest Fantastic Four movie. It was so boring.
I read
reviews
of it. And I read reviews of it, and it seemed like worse than the.
The thing is, and I'm not going to get all into it, but like the thing about it was that it looked nice. Nothing happened. It was just nothing. The entire movie.
I've read it. It's one of the worst movies ever.
It was just so boring.
Yeah.
But anyways, if they rebooted them or whatever, that's cool. I really do think that Silver Surfer could be one of the coolest things that you make, because he can be so cool.
If Marvel, with what they're doing now, can put the Silver Surfer into something, he'd be so awesome.
Exactly.
Because he really is cool. Like, his last name is Rad. His name is Norrin Rad.
Not only is his last name Rad, he's literally a Silver Surfer.
Bro. He has like long blonde hair and he's just all silver everywhere else. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I want to see the X-Men incorporated, and I think it's just like, after seeing Endgame, look what we can do. We bought Fox, look what else we can do. So it's like, what are they going to do next?
Yeah.
And I think that's what
that's the question they want everybody to ask.
That's what I'm most excited about. I'm sure they'll keep on the Russo brothers, because those guys...
Oh, they're not giving them up anytime soon.
No, those guys knocked it out of the park. Props to them for getting us, like, for doing what they've done.
Yeah.
Because this has never been done before. Like, I mean, it's insane what the actors and everybody involved with this movie has been able to do. It's incredible. It's best
shout out to the Russo. Shout out to Endgame.
Absolutely.
You done good.
You done really good. I think that's what we think of Endgame, isn't it, Joseph?
You done good.
So yeah, this was a good episode. We're wrapping up the first, I guess, episode of Jagles J 2.0. So we're going to be publishing here on YouTube. We're doing audio plus video now. Right now we're video. This video was filmed on my phone. And we won't be doing that really too much longer. I'm in the process of acquiring another camera right now, so hopefully maybe the video quality will be a little bit better. I don't know.
I mean, the thing about iPhones is that this is like one of the newer ones, so it's actually really nice quality.
It looks pretty good from what I've seen so far. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up, and stay tuned for just like what Marvel's gonna do next. You just gotta see what we're gonna do next. Yeah. Exactly. What's up, everybody? It's Jordan from Jagles J, and I just wanted to say thanks for listening, and this time watching, an episode of our podcast. Jagles J 2.0 is a reboot of the podcast that Joseph and I started as just J equals J about a year ago this month. We're really excited for the direction that we're heading, and we hope you guys enjoy. Our next episode is going to be about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The trailer dropped for that about a month or so ago, and Joseph and I sat down to talk about it, so stay tuned, and that'll be the next episode that you'll see uploaded on this channel. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on the Jagles J Podcast 2.0.